Welcome to the Shreveport Connection. This is Tommy. This video is on your Impact spoilers for probably the rest of the year because there's so many results and they're out of whack. Uh, Angelina Love revealed that she is expecting her first child with her new husband, Davey Richards. She said the following: "At Richard Wesley and I are expected to have our first baby and proud to announce that." Another update on Bully Ray's situation with WWE. When NXT toured Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Albany, New York on May 15th and 16th, WWE contacted Bully to work the shows. He was set to work the shows, but suffered an eardrum injury before it happened. He said he couldn't work the events because the injury affected his equilibrium and he didn't want to have bad matches. WWE did understand the situation and appreciated the fact that he told them. Originally, according to sources, Bully was originally planned to make an appearance at the NXT house show that took place in Philadelphia on May 15th, according to a source. WWE wanted him because they knew he could get a big pop from the crowd, but they nixed the idea after he appeared on the May 8th episode of TNA Impact Wrestling as a referee in a match between Kurt Angle and Eric Young. Tommy Dreamer worked the show instead. Bully has been pushing in interviews for a WWE return, despite the fact that he just returned to TNA as a new authority figure. Well, they may have wrote him off this past week or this week because he was beaten up backstage. While WWE did contact him to appear at several NXT Live events, again Pennsylvania and Albany, New York, that was all he was offered. Several people close to Bully said he was excited about the possibility of returning to WWE full-time after his surprise Royal Rumble appearance, but WWE had very little contact with him following that, and it got to the point where he didn't think that they had any further interest in him. Thus, his recent return to TNA Wrestling. It appears that Bully is gone from TNA again after this, like I was just saying. Bully was recently brought in as the new general manager of TNA by Dixie Carter. Ray was not at any of the TNA tapings currently being held in Orlando, Florida this past week because it was like a 10-day recording session. When people started asking Bully where Bully was, the word that he was gone from the company already. Per a source, Ray left after telling TNA he wasn't happy with the current state of affairs with the company and believed it was better to distance himself from it. He was openly telling people that the company was a sinking ship and he didn't want to be a part of it. Ray was working on a per appearance deal, as most talents are recently, and was not under contract with the promotion. How TNA plans on addressing this on Impact, as you just seen on Impact this week, a source within TNA says that Bully Ray did not quit the company. Since he wasn't under contract, he couldn't quit. His storyline as a TNA GM was never meant to be long-term. Thus, for this coming week, Jeff Jarrett's doing a one-time only thing, as he announced on this week's Impact for next week's. So, going with that. As TNA kicked off Impact Wrestling TV tapings in Orlando, Florida, the tapings was held in 8 of the next 9 days, with the only day was Sunday being the day off for their rest. TNA's event in York, Pennsylvania on September 17th is the only advertised date on their calendar this year for live events. The only additional advertised show on the UK tour is January 2016, as TNA announced its biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, this week on their show, will take place live Sunday, October the 4th, 3 days after my birthday, October the 1st, from the Cabarrus Arena in Charlotte, North Carolina, Flair and Hardy Country, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Of course, that's 7 p.m. Central Time, and will be available on pay-per-view exclusively. Tickets for Bound for Glory go on sale today. Go on sale July 31st. Well, last Friday, and are available through Cabarrus Arena box office, Ticketmaster locations, Ticketmaster.com, or by phone at 1-800-745-3000. North Carolina is wrestling country and hardy country, and we are thrilled to bring TNA's biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, to Charlotte, said TNA President Dixie Carter. In addition to veterans who are among the most accomplished in the history of our business, we also have the most talented roster of dynamic talent in pro wrestling today who are bound for glory. Unquote. The stars of Impact Wrestling scheduled to appear for Bound for Glory include Jeff and Matt Hardy, Olympic gold medalist and TNA Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, TNA World Champion Ethan Carter III, Drew Galloway, Tag Team Champions The Wolves, Bram, Bobby Lashley, Knockout Champion Brooke, X Division Champion and High Flying Luchador Tigre Uno, Gail Kim, Rockstar Spud, The Dollhouse, and many more. Bound for Glory VIP and travel packages are available only on shoptna.com, including the all-new main event experience, which gives a limited number of fans the opportunity to enjoy a day of memories that will last a lifetime through unprecedented access to the arena and the stars of Impact Wrestling prior to the event. Main event experience includes a personal guided tour of the Bound for Glory arena, backstage area, and production facilities with Dixie Carter herself, lunch at catering with the entire roster and crew, a fantasy booking and creative session with the TNA writer and agent, a walk down Bound for Glory entrance ramp, and into the ring for a photo with the TNA World title, and much, much more. For more information on Bound for Glory, including tickets, VIP experiences, travel packages, pay-per-view ordering, and more, visit ImpactWrestling.com/BFG. Also follow them on Twitter at Impact Wrestling. TNA has reached out to a number of their roster members to inform them that their monthly guarantees are being dropped. So if you ain't been paid, you ain't going to be paid. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, the company is offering per appearance deals instead. Well, it's like this. If I'm gonna show up, you need to pay me before I get there. So you pay me once I get there. After that, Johnson's story notes that TNA is giving a little more per appearance. Basically, TNA will only be paying the wrestlers they book for events, not paying them a monthly rate and an extra per appearance fee. This is obviously a big negative in the eyes of the talent affected by the move, even though in theory they could end up making more money if the company starts running more shows. Yet with only one show advertised, plus Bound for Glory, teased by Dixie Carter herself, after the tapings that began 2 weeks ago, it's hard to see things improving for the talent in the near future. And thus I was waiting to get all the results for all the shows to do this video. The original source for this news item, of course, is from Mike Johnson of PWInsider.com. TNA talent advertised for the Heroes and Legends event in Fort Wayne, Indiana, will not actually be at the show. According to the event promoters, TNA pulled the talent that they needed for the TV tapings after the ads were already printed, such as Abyss, Tyrus, now free agent Austin Aries, and Rosita will not be attending the convention. And if you watched Impact Wrestling this week, Austin Aries is gone from TNA. Still scheduled are Kevin Nash, who is probably going to be replaced, Sean X-Pac Waltman, and the reason why Kevin Nash was replaced, a scheduling mishap on somebody's bookings. Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Justin Credible, Bob Holly, Rob Conway, yes, the Iron Man, the Rock and Roll Express, the Nasty Boys, Sabu, Shannon Moore, Teddy Long, Juventud Guerrero, Bram, Kevin Thorne, Virgil, Katarina Walters, Shelly Martinez, You know, the Scream Queen. From ECW, the Vampire Queen. Rebel, Gorgeous George, and Melissa Coates. As you'd imagine, the company is not happy with the late notice from TNA Wrestling, as they've been advertising the talent for several months now. Global Force Wrestling announced that Jeff Hardy will appear at the August 14th event in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the BB&T Ballpark. Well, we're going to get some bass wrestling. I call it wrestling. Hardy is replacing the previously advertised Kevin Nash. There you go, like I was just saying. GFW announced that Nash had a scheduling conflict. Jeff is especially popular in Hardy country, so this would be viewed possibly, and most fans attending the show. Gunner recently appeared on the Pancakes and Power Slams podcast to post his hopes for TNA, the Hogan, Bischoff era, Finn Balor, Kurt Angle, and more. Full interview can be found at a link I did not get. So I'll just do a Google search for the Pancakes and Power Slams podcast. There were many reports of people having problems with pay. Was that your issue at all? There were a couple of times, as Gunner said, that the pay got messed up when it may have come in a couple days late. I was always paid, to the most part, on time. Pay was never kept from me or anything like that. I know I talked to a few guys that hadn't been paid for 30 or 45 days, and I said, well, if that's the case, you have to man up and say something, because in your contract it says we have to be paid in a certain amount of time after the shows. For the most part, I was paid on time and paid right. Well, on August the 7th news, James Storm announced that he is done with TNA. Finished my duties at Impact Wrestling yesterday. Storm wrote on Twitter that today begins a new chapter in my life. I'm excited for what the future holds. Follow him on twitter.com/James Stormbrand. And he's already joined GFW. Storm also indicated that he's not finished wrestling. Matt Morgan also stated in a recent interview with me that he believes Storm has interest in working for WWE's NXT division. There's no word yet as to whether the interest is mutual. And at James Stormbrand, he says, "Oh, I'm not done wrestling. Just working on a new saddle for a fresh horse. Hashtag Cowboy Way. Hashtag We Want the Cowboy." Working comments on working with Vince Russo. I always enjoyed working with Vince. I never had any issues. Sometimes his ideas were all over the place, but for the most part, he would ask you to put in your input. What do you think about this? What do you think about that, bro? What do you think about this? He gave you a lot of money, a lot of leeway to do your own thing. CM Punk saying, thank God, it's a weird thing to do. I don't think it's weird. We all have our different views. I've got buddies like Ken Anderson. He's an atheist. We were like best friends. We talk about religion all the time. He knows that my faith is a huge part of what I do. It keeps me strong and always has since I was in the Marine Corps. And when I went through war, I don't think that it's a weird at all. It's no more weird than anybody else's beliefs. Noted in comments on July 31st, TNA Impact Wrestling Spoiler Report, there was a segment with Jeremy Borash trying to interview a man in a Bigfoot costume, only to have Bigfoot run away, come back and start dancing. There was another segment later on where a top TNA star was revealed to be in the Bigfoot costume, indicating that it was part of an actual angle. Brian Alvarez of F4W Online says a TNA source told him that the entire Bigfoot skit as a promotional deal for Destination America, who has a show about Bigfoot. He added that this could be wrong, but the segment was apparently filmed for Destination America and will never be seen on TNA TV. However, the second part of the spoiler report, where the top TNA star was revealed to be under the suit, gives the impression that we may be seeing it on TV. And then the next is some GFW. Stars announced for WrestleCade. As WrestleCade has announced, Global Force Wrestling founder and promoter and former WCW, WWE, TNA star Jeff Jarrett has been added to their big WrestleCade TV event this fall. Jarrett will appear in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at the convention on Saturday, November 28th. And you can visit the WrestleCade website for more details. July 22nd, new tapings. Unknown dates have been announced for the results. As they taped in Orlando, back in the Impact Zone, no word yet on when this will air. Outrider did not, as champions did not come out with their titles, so it appears that these are one-night only pay-per-views or explosion tapings. But the correspondent indicated that one or two matches and a promo may have been taped for Impact Wrestling. Thanks to Jeremy for the live spoilers. Drew Galloway defeated Bram. Rockstar Spud defeated Grado. Awesome Kong defeated Madison Rain. Ethan Carter III and Austin Aries with Rosita went to a time limit draw. So there you go. Austin Aries again being back with TNA Wrestling after his contracted release due to his loss against Rockstar Spud. On this week's present week's results, and the reporter misspelled Kong. They sent in Awesome King. Abyss defeated Eric Young. Bobby Roode defeated James Storm. Matt Hardy defeated Davey Richards. Brooke Tessmacher defeated Gail Kim. Kenny King defeated Aiden O'Shea, formerly Jay Bradley. DJ Zima Ion defeated Tigre Uno. I guess it wasn't a championship match. So here you go. Tyrus defeated Chris Melendez in a match for Explosion. Eli Drake came out for a promo about being the best wrestler in TNA. He wrestled Micah, his former tag team partner, to a double countout. They restarted the match and Micah won by pinfall. So I wonder if it was botched or how they redo it. We'll have to see when they do the live showing of it. Robbie E. defeated Eddie Edwards. Jesse Goddard defeated Crimson. Manic defeated Mark Andrews. Mahabali Sheriff defeated Crazy Steve. And Mahabali Sheriff was formerly in with James Storm group. Drew Galloway defeated Grado. So there you go. It was a different taping. Drew already had one match already. Eric Young came out and cut a promo on how he would be the tournament winner. Whatever tournament that was supposed to be said, because nothing in the spoilers is saying it. And Eric Young defeated Bobby Roode. Bram defeated Spud, but demanded the match be restarted so he could continue the punishment. It was restarted, but Spud won in a quick match. Bobby Lashley defeated Mr. Anderson. And that was the end of that particular day's tapings. Okay. Well, taped at Universal Studios, Soundstage 20. Obvious that TNA made some small production and design changes, although the set still had the familiar Impact graphics and banners around the six-sided ring. Most of the seating was set up along the left side of the ring. A few people lined the ring all the way around. Must be a lumberjack match. Some seated and some standing. A post-theme park day didn't dull the crowd at all, as Jeremy Borash was able to get a good pop for both the wrestlers and the company throughout the night as MC, especially with the news that some loudly cheering fans will get to head backstage for a meet and greet with the talent. That's what they do at live events. The crowd may have been mostly first-timers, but they seemed to know wrestling, with various chants being shouted as JB was prepping them for the first match, which Drew Galloway defeated Bram. Both wrestlers came out to some cheering from the crowd, but it was obvious that the crowd was behind Drew Galloway as Drew chants quickly filled the sound stage. Vaunted veteran referee Earl Hebner struggled to keep both men separated while they waiting for the bell to be rung. Immediately after the ding ding, the guys wasted no time locking up, with Bram throwing a cheap right to get a separation, allowing him to slip out of the ring, something that he would do constantly during this match. Drew pursued Bram, hitting the ropes and diving onto Bram outside the ring so hard a barrier pushed back into the crowd, who only amped up the intensity for Drew Galloway. After more of Bram running out of the ring and doing some heavy hand shot trading, Galloway was able to keep Bram inside the square circle long enough to deliver a big running kick and cover for a pinfall. Drew chants rung out as Galloway made his way backstage. Rockstar Spud defeated Grado. Always wanted to play up to the crowd. Spud and Grado had pop from the beginning. That pop only grew louder as Spud went for a suplex on the heavier Grado. During an attempt, it appeared that Spud went digging for gold, with his thumb accidentally slipping into Grado's backside. Wow, somebody's actually watching that. I guess they read Hogan's book about oil changing Andre. Checking the oil, in other words. Things really went crazy when Spud offered Grado a sniff of his smelly thumb. Grado would get things moving again after Spud spur kicked him. Throwing his weight around, Grado enjoyed an advantage during most of the match, including a sweet pedigree, until he appeared to get a little winded after an extended version of a running elbow drop, the people's elbow, complete with a weak elbow pad toss. Spud was able to mount a little offense during Grado's run with a few nice drop kicks and finally broke through with a stunner and underdog for the win. That's what they're calling a top rope bulldog, I guess. And the crowd loved Rockstar Spud and gave him a nice send-off backstage. Awesome Kong defeated Madison Rayne. This was probably from the same results from earlier. Well, this is more detailed. This was a pro Kong crowd. Since there was a big cheers and Kong chants, as always, intimidating Awesome Kong claimed her territory in the ring. However, Madison Rayne fans was nearby also, with a nice pop for her as well. Again, size was a little match for speed and agility, as Rayne could not get any significant offense mounted against the constant pushing and tossing of the much bigger Awesome Kong. Body slams and power bombs, and finally a spinning back fist and implant buster laid out Madison for the pinfall. EC3 with Tyrus fought Austin Aries with Thea Trinidad to a draw. As Thea returned to TNA. A non-title matchup of two TNA favorites. This contest saw both competitors enter the arena to solid pop and mighty yes chants. Austin Aries and EC3 locked up, each man's name being chanted as he mounted offense. Oh yeah, that was a stipulation this week. Aries was saying, well, if I win the match, I want to claim the Rockstar Aries name. Or being out of TNA. Well, there you go. He's still in TNA. So what a way to do some writing. Let's see how much bad it gets when they're taping. With Aries throwing Carter back into the ring amidst EC3 sucks chants. And no, he doesn't chants ringing. EC3 mount some offense, including a chokehold that would last for over a minute, and a near fall on the breathless Aries. After some back and forth, a little distraction from Tyrus and Thea along the way, the match would come up against the 15-minute time limit, being declared officially a draw. Wanting more from these two hard-working veterans, the crowd chanted, "Let them fight," which EC3 took as a distraction and tried to attack Aries, who would mount his own offense and plant Carter with a brainbuster. The crowd loved it and showed appreciation to Aries and Thea in the ring after the match. Match number 5, Bobby Roode defeated James Storm. In this match of the two former Beer Money members, there was no doubt who had what role. Heel or face, Storm entered to a unified chorus of boos, while Bobby Roode received all sorts of pop, including Roode chant. The crowd did chant for Storm, as though they were singing "Let's Go Fat Boy." Storm seemed reluctant or defiant and didn't lock up right away. but he would hit the outside of the ring after some trading hard slaps and chops with Rude. At one point, the Storm turned and gave the audience a little sightage before he ended up outside the ring and thrown into the steel steps by Rude. Back in the ring, Storm built some great heat with an unseen low blow to Rude. Furthering, capitalizing, Storm delivers some hard boots to the chest of Rude, followed by an elbow drop and cover for a 2 count. Rude and Storm traded off some nice offense until Storm hit Rude with his rope. And the referee was looking outside the ring with the 15-minute bell looming. So it looks like they're going with a 15-minute time limit on all matches. Storm would kick and cover, but found that Rude countered with a great roll-up for the 3 count. Great appreciation was shown to each man for their great match. Abyss went over Eric Young. Abyss, who entered to a nice pop once his music and Titantron video hit the crowd, seemed to come out as a face, especially against Eric Young, who had the crowd something from his first steps in the arena. Young will get more heat throughout the match, with his threats and disregard for legendary referee Earl Hebner, at one point telling Hebner that he would bust his head. EY would put all of his anger into the match, but the Monster Abyss stayed focused and open for business as he laid out Young with a Samoan drop and big choke slams. With every move Abyss delivered, the crowd popped like country kettle corn in a grease fire, especially when he looked under the ring apron, bringing out his beloved Janice. Not one for nonsense inside the square circle. Earl Hebner disarmed Abyss immediately, opening up Abyss for a low blow by Eric Young while Hebner was distracted. No matter after a quick 2 count cover by Young, Abyss was able to rise to the vertical base and delivered a ring-shaking tilt-the-world side slam. The black hole slam for the cover and the win. Of course, crowd loved it and gave Abyss a raucous send-off. Match number 7, Brooke defeated Gail Kim amidst a slight turning over the crowd. Knockout champion Brooke Tessmacher, who, like EC3 and Tigre Udo, entered minus her championship belt, took on Gail Kim in what was a fairly even match until Brooke pinned Kim for what most in the crowd thought was a 2 count, but ended up in a 3 count, called it a victory for Brooke. Brooke appeared to have sustained some sort of injury to her right arm and left the ring pretty quick. It was not announced what, if any, injury had happened. Match number 8, Matt Hardy defeated Davey Richards in a match featuring 2 guys who could really hit the ropes and don't mind sacrificing themselves for the good of the crowd. Both men got some good pops and got solid hits to one another, both inside the ring and out. A Hardy champ broke out anytime Richards was able to mount offense, whether that be a big drop kick or a nasty suplex to the obvious crowd favorite, Matt Hardy. These guys are no strangers to the middle or top ropes and use them frequently during their match through. Though neither competitor was really able to get high flying because the other one would yank him down before anything happened, Hardy was able to counter Richards and deliver a finishing twist of fate for the win. Match number 9. Well, this is Kenny King defeated Aiden O'Shea. O'Shea is Jay Bradley. With O'Shea coming out in his Irish Brawler heel gimmick. Well, I got the names wrong. Did it earlier. The guy from James Storm's crew, forgot his name. Oh, I was thinking it was O'Shea, but it's not. Okay. The crowd could get behind Kenny King as a face who handily with a springboard blockbuster. Match number 10, DJZ defeated Tigre Udo with a solid crowd from start to finish. Ion was able to get a pinfall victory over the X Division champion, Tigre Udo, again, who came out with no belt. So either they were stripped or whatever. Let's see how it goes. Tyrus defeated Chris Melendez. You had a one-legged wrestler. Sergeant Melendez would bring offense as Melendez has the artificial leg. He brought an offense of plenty in his match against EC3 stooge Tyrus. Melendez just would not quit amidst a flurry of big elbow drops from Tyrus, mustering the strength for a roll-up and a 2 count at one point. However, a dirty play for Tyrus and a solidly connecting right hand laid out Sarge that gave Tyrus a much booed victory. Melendez would leave the ring to a roar of applause alongside the USA chants. Eli Drake, the fitter, delivered a promo and led the crowd know that he's the greatest TNA wrestler of all time, being simply stepping through the door. That got him some good heat from the crowd, which only carried into the match, especially after he bagged on former Rising member Drew Galloway and Micah, saying that Micah didn't have the guts to step up on his own. Clearly, Micah took exception. Micah defeated Eli Drake. The match was see both wrestlers counted out in a double count out, but not before Eli Drake generated a good bit of heat with attacks on Micah and his almost taking out of a TNA cameraman who himself looked ready to fight the former faction member. Micah wasn't satisfied with the result and called for chants for 5 more minutes from the crowd. Those wishes were granted by the always lovely Christy Hemme, and the match restarted. Micah took advantage of the extra time and pinned Drake for the win. Robbie E. defeated Eddie Edwards. Robbie won with a reverse DDT in a hard-hitting and high-flying singles match. Unlucky 13 match, Jesse Goddard defeated Crimson. Goddard won with a submission with the Adonis Crab. Match number 14, Manic defeated Mandrews. Manic won with a detonation kick. Okay, here's the guy's name, Mahabali Shera, as his new name. He went over Crazy Steve, and Shera won with a sky high. 6'5", 6'6", however, he's listed. He's pretty tall, so I guess it's sky high. Gail Kim protested the earlier suspect 3 count and was granted a restart to the prior match. Brooke would roll up Kim for the pinfall. This is obviously Brooke was still favoring the right wrist or arm area. Match number 16 of the taping, Drew Galloway defeated Grado. Despite Galloway's early attempts at provoking Grado to anger, the chubby Scot seemed perfectly content to trade blows and compliment Galloway for each one. Finally growing weary and looking for a good answer, Galloway delivered a belly-to-belly suplex to Grado and begged him for some anger. Grado did finally oblige, mounting some solid offense until a big running boot to the face from Galloway shut it down for good and allowed for Galloway victory and the pinfall. Eric Young jumped on the stick to cut a promo, letting the audience know he is a world-class professional and that he would win the whole tournament no matter who they sent out to him. The crowd responded by letting him know that he surely is a world-class ass. As I say. As Young was yammering about the winning, Bobby Roode's music hit and the place lit up with pops for Roode. Eric Young defeated Bobby Roode. Roode was able to come down a shut EY up for a few minutes with some huge right hands, one finally sending Young to the mat with the crowd behind him. Roode was able to land a nice spinebuster after Young recovered from the right crosses. Just as it seemed Roode had it all wrapped up and was set to deliver a top rope blockbuster, Eric Young grabbed referee Earl Hebner and pulled him in the way. And that provided all the distraction needed for Young to hit the thunderous pile driver and steal a victory. Booze would accompany EY to the showers. Match number 18, Bram defeated Rockstar Spud with an implant DDT. Bram then took a mic and asked for the bell to be rung again so he could beat Rockstar Spud another time. Well, Rockstar Spud defeated Bram as Spud won with an underdog. Since the match did count towards the upcoming tournament, Rockstar Spud was declared a winner and advances to the finals. Spud then proclaims that the underdog will win, to a nice cheer from the audience. Match number 20, Lashley defeated Mr. Anderson. These two Impact heavyweights shook the building before the bell even rang. Mr. Anderson's entrance always gets the crowd participation, as does Lashley's hard-driving music. Seismic noise would continue as these big boys shook the six-sided ring with every step. Anderson and Lashley held back no intensity, delivering big, solid movements. Lashley would immediately shoot for and get a takedown on Mr. Anderson, which would end up in both men rising to the vertical base before Lashley delivered a belly-to-belly suplex. Trying to capitalize while Anderson was recovering, Lashley jumped for the spear and was met with a quick-moving Anderson and hits the bare steel ring post. Anderson would get a 2 count. Anderson then mounted his own brand of offense, getting in some big shoulder strikes and a drop kick to take down Lashley. And then it went back and forth, continuing until Mr. Anderson saw an opportunity on an ailing Lashley, who had just kicked out at 2. Anderson measured up with Lashley and went for the charge, but Lashley got his tonnage moving and crashed into the unguarded midsection of Anderson, laying him out like a sidewalk drunk. After closing time, as the crowd exploded, Lashley covered for the win, as the show went to the close for that particular night. July 23rd, tapings. Austin Aries and James Storm, who aren't under contract with TNA anymore, worked the tapings for Explosion and future one-night-only shows. Aries had a match against Ethan Carter III, while James Storm wrestled Bobby Roode. Aries was hoping to get per appearance dates with TNA in the future, but remains a free agent. Both of the returns are not full-time. And for the tapings, thanks to James Kent and PW Insider, it was a disjointed evening in Orlando. TNA taped one night only pay-per-view and Explosion. There was a tournament for the pay-per-view on the show. Here's the results. Bram defeated Grado. Austin Aries defeated Mr. Anderson. Bobby Lashley defeated Drew Galloway. Matt Hardy beat Robbie E. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards did an exhibition match that went to a draw. Doesn't say who they went against. Okay, that's right. They went against themselves. Bobby Roode defeated Abyss. Tigre Uno defeated Mandrews. Eli Drake defeated Jesse Goddard. Gail Kim defeated Madison Rain. Eric Young defeated James Storm. Aiden O'Shea defeated Crazy Steve. Muhammad Ali Shera defeated Kenny King. Bobby Lashley defeated Austin Aries. Manic defeated Ion. Matt Hardy defeated Eddie Edwards. Micah defeated Crimson. Davey Richards defeated Bram. Drew Galloway defeated Spud. EC3 defeated Mr. Anderson to retain the TNA title. And that was the end of that tapings. July 24th tapings for the unknown date. More one-night-only pay-per-view footage and Explosion matches from Orlando. Thanks to Jeremy for the following spoilers. EC3 defeated Davey Richards for round 2 tournament match. Bobby Lashley defeated Matt Hardy. Eric Young defeated Kenny King. Gail Kim defeated Awesome Kong. Tigre Uno defeated Manic. Muhammad Ali Shera defeated Aiden O'Shea. James Storm versus Abyss started, with Storm wanting Abyss to get himself counted out, but they wrestled more anyway. Storm got the win. Ion defeated Mark Andrews, as they call him, Mandrews. EC3 defeated Bobby Lashley. Jeremy Morris hyped the crowd and teased a team challenge series, which I think is Team TNA versus Team GFW. Matt Hardy defeated Eric Young. Jesse Gardner defeated Awesome Kong. Yeah, that's right. Jesse Gardner defeated Awesome Kong. Muhammad Ali Shera defeated Eli Drake. Well, Ion defeated Tigre Uno and Manic in a reverse elimination match. As DJ defeated Manic and got to leave the ring, winning the match, Tigre and Manic then wrestled until Tigre pinned Manic to win second place. Jesse Goddard defeated Micah to make it to the finals of the tournament. Jesse Goddard versus Al Snow in an Elevation X match was set for Genesis. Mr. Anderson defeated Crimson in a match for Explosion. Eddie Edwards defeated Rockstar Spud in a match for Explosion as well. July 25th, taping for an unknown future date. appears another one-night-only pay-per-view match in Orlando. They've taped only one-night-only and explosive matches for that week. No word yet on when they will air, but thanks to Jeremy again for the live spoilers. Davey Richards defeated Robbie E. Bobby Lashley defeated EC3 by countout. Tigre Uno defeated Gail Kim. Tigre Uno will face Abyss in a barbed wire massacre match at Genesis. Eli Drake defeated Crimson. Bobby Roode defeated Eddie Edwards. Minister Anderson and Rockstar's Bud in a fatal four-way elimination match. Madison Rayne defeated Brooke Tessmacher. Kenny King defeated Crazy Steve. Eric Young defeated Tigre Uno. EC3 defeated DJ Ion. Lashley defeated Muhammad Ali Shera. Tigre Uno, Manic, and Mandrews defeated Eli Drake, Micah, Jesse Goddard, and Crimson when everyone walked out on Drake. Robbie E. then defeated Aiden O'Shea in a match for Explosion. O'Shea will face Pat Kenny at Genesis in a Shamrock street fight. Yeah, Pat Kenny. Isn't he, what's his name? From Team Canada. The Wolves defeated Tyrus and Micah in a match for Explosion. Jesse Goddard defeated Rockstar Spud in a match for Explosion. Chris Melendez defeated Manic in a match for Explosion. Wow. Taped on July 27th for more Explosion and Impact Wrestling footage. This happened on Monday. And here's the spoilers. Kenny King defeated DJ Ion in a match for Explosion. Jeff Jarrett cut a promo about ending his TNA career on a positive note. A brawl broke out between GFW and TNA stars to set up a bout between both sides. There will be a King of the Mountain match as well. This is where Jeff Jarrett relinquished his title on that. Awesome Kong versus Lady Choppa in a double countout. Okay, well, guess who's TNA and who's GFW? Kong, TNA, Lady Choppa, GFW. King of the Mountain, match number one qualifier, Bobby Lashley defeated Jesse Goddard. Bobby is upset about not getting picked for the King of the Mountain match itself, but he wins, so he should be in. Well, he called out Rockstar's Bud, and well, Bobby Roode was upset, not Bobby Lashley. Roode was upset. He called out Rockstar Spud and beat Spud down and won the match. Matt Hardy came out and talked about the World Heavyweight title. EC3 and Tyrus defeated beat Hardy down, as thus they just had the match on Impact this week. So it looks like they're doing it again. The Wolves defeated Brian Myers, formerly Kurt Hawkins from WWE, and Trevor Lee. PJ Black, the former Justin Gabriel, defeated Robbie E. And by the way, PJ Black is GFW, as well as Chris Masters. Robbie E is TNA. Lashley and Eric Young, probably TNA. In a King of the Mountain match, who win the King of the Mountain title. Thus, Justin Gabriel is your new King of the Mountain champion. Eli Drake cut a promo. Tigre Uno retained the X Division title over Sanjay Dutt from GFW. Muhammad Ali Shera came out and cut a promo and danced. He ended up getting beaten down by James Storm and the Revolution. There you go. Former Revolution members go at it. Chris Melendez cut a promo on Eric Young and demanded a rematch. EY accepted, but Melendez had to put his leg on the line. Jeff Jarrett is revealed to be the new authority figure, replacing what's his name? Bully Ray. Jarrett announced Black versus EC3 for the World Heavyweight title, but EC3 refused. Karen Jarrett then had words with EC3 and says he will be stripped if he doesn't defend it. Matt Hardy defeated Tyrus after the match. EC3 attacked Hardy. EC3 retained the World Heavyweight title over PJ Black. Matt Hardy defeated Bobby Roode. Drew Galloway defeated Eli Drake in another disqualification match. Gail Kim defeated Marty Bell. And Jay did a handicap steel cage match Yes, the Dollhouse. To end that taping, July 29th taping and August 5th episodes of Impact in Orlando. And here are the results from that. They actually gave a date for that. Explosion match, Velvet Sky defeated Madison Rayne. Bobby Lashley defeated Tyrus. Eli Drake defeated Drew Galloway. Mr. Anderson defeated Bram. Miss Tessmacher defeated Marty Bell. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy came out to announce that Matt's world title shot against Ethan Carter III will be a Full Metal Mayhem match. Well, thus again, the same. Well, that was for this week. Okay, well, I'm just giving the results of these matches, I guess. Announcement of Jeff Jarrett will be going to the TNA Hall of Fame. Ceremony took place in the ring and featured Dixie Carter, Mike Tenay, Karen Jarrett, and Jeff. Kurt Angle announced that he has a tumor in his neck and will need some time off for surgery. EC3 came out and takes credit for the tumor. He attracted Angle, but Chris Melendez made the save. Rockstar defeated Austin Aries, and Aries is gone for TNA. Stipulation was that if Aries won, he got to take Rockstar's Bud's name, but didn't win the match. Jay and Storm versus Mahabali Shera. Koya from the Revolution ended in disqualification when Storm hit him with a cowbell. EC3 defeated Matt Hardy with the World Heavyweight title in a Full Metal Mayhem match. Segment with the BDC. Beatdown crew have issues between Hernandez and Kenny King. MVP tried to calm them down, and King walked away upset. Well, that was from the tapings, and it was not on there because of the stipulation that Lucha Libre, Lucha Underground, had them remove all the content that Hernandez was in because he's still under contract with Lucha Underground. Eric Young defeated Chris Melendez. Gail Kim and Brooke Tessmacher attacked Marty Bell and Jade in a steel cage. Hernandez then defeated Lashley in a steel cage match. Again, that was not on the show. Another report. The Explosion, Kenny King defeated DJ Ion. Another report from the tapings. Like I said, Karen and Jeff Jarrett arrived to announce the first interpromotional match between TNA and Global Force Wrestling. Eric Young come out and Jarrett announced the King of the Mountain title would be defended tonight on the tapings. As Jarrett tried to leave, Young attacked him, leading the members of both rosters fighting. Awesome Kong fought Lady Tapa to a double countout. GFW's ring announcer introduced Tapa. The match ended in a double countout in about a 5-minute match. Bobby Roode came out and he's confused and upset about tonight. What's going on tonight? He's questioned why he's not in the King of the Mountain match. He spoke about Aries not losing his job when he lost to Rockstar Spud. Roode called Spud to the ring. Spud came out wearing an awesome purple shirt. They shook hands. Then Roode ran down his suit and said that he should be proud to defeat Aries and end his TNA career, and he should be proud of himself. Spud said he's proud of his time in TNA and winning the X Division title. Spud said he never imagined he'd be in the ring with someone like Roode and realized he could be such a condescending prick. Spud compared Roode to a bully in school who took the kids' lunch money, but Spud will fight back. Roode attacked Spud and laid him out with the Roode bomb and threw him outside the ring steps before officials came out and sent him to the back. Match number 2 that was taped. Lashley defeated Jesse Goddard in a King of the Mountain qualifier. Lashley got the win in about 7 minutes with a spear that Goddard didn't appear to sell properly, but overall it was a strong match. Lashley is one of the most underused men in the company. His power spots and his overall look is dominating in person. Out next was TNA champion EC3, who said he was bred to be a champion and is better than anyone in the crowd and any locker room anywhere. He put himself over in his match last week against Matt Hardy. Matt came out and said he heard everything he said and he may well be the best in the business. Hardy said despite EC3 defeating him, he will not quit until he is the TNA champion. EC3 said he respects Matt And if he wants another title match, then they'll let the people decide. The crowd pops loud. And then EC3 said no. Well, they sold that from the storyline of the Authority from last week when they did the John Cena thing versus your still champion for WWE. Tyrus attacked Matt Hardy from behind, and Carter laid him out with the belt to end that segment. In a dark segment, Jeremy Morris announced that Jeff Hardy will return at tomorrow's taping. Tag team champions, the Wolves defeated Trevor Lee and Brian Myers. The Wolves got the win in about 7 minutes with their finisher. Pretty good match. X-Division champion Tigre Uno defeated Sanjay Jet. Tigre got the win with a surprise roll-up in about a 4-minute match. I thought they should have been given more time. PJ Black defeated Chris Murdetsky. Chris Masters. Robbie E., Eric Young, and Lashley to win the King of the Mountain title. Again, with some more results. Jeff and Karen were not out to start the match. Young and Mordesky were pinned just over a minute into the match by Lashley and Black. Robbie got the next pin over PJ and then was almost immediately after pinning a pin by Lashley. About 3 minutes in, Mordesky got the pin on Young in about 6 minutes to be eligible. And about 10 minutes in, Black and Masters both climbed up the ladder, but Lashley tipped the ladder over and hit a huge spear on the masterpiece Mordesky as he was going to put the belt up. Young took him out. Young went to climb the ladder. He was knocked off by Black, who hit a 450 into a knee landing on Lashley's chest. Black grabbed the belt and got the win in about 13 minutes to become the new King of the Mountain champion. Surprising result, but it was good to see GFW pushing him. James Storm, Manic, and Abyss came to the ring. Storm said that they're a family, despite his measures being a bit extreme. Storm called out Mahabali Shera. Shera came out and Storm apologized to him, and he said he was testing him. Storm wanted to see if he was serious about joining the Revolution. Storm said he took him under his wing and showed him around. He told Shera to raise his index finger to join them. Shera he wasn't respected, and then did not respect him. He said his name is not Koya. He was treated like trash. He's like all of us in that he likes to have fun and loves to dance and play his music. He went around the crowd doing his dance. He got back in the ring, and even Manic started to dance. Storm got pissed and then said, he's like these people, a joke. Storm and Abyss attacked Shera. They told Manic to go to the top rope, and he reluctantly hit the frog splash, which was followed by Storm's last call. They left Shera lying to end the segment. Jeff and Karen Jarrett came out and said everyone's buzzing about Jeff W. They announced that the King of the Mountain champion, PJ Black, will face EC3 for the TNA title. EC3 and Tyrus Skin came out. EC3 asked who he thinks he is and said the match is off. Karen got in Ethan's face and reminded him that Jeff still owns a stake in the company. Jeff threatened to call Dixie Carter and the board of directors and strip EC3 of the title if he refuses to compete. It's up to him. Boris came out and said that there will be a steel cage match later in the show. Eric Young came out and said that he should be in the main event. He said Angle isn't there and he makes him the best and most dangerous man in the business. He said he's taking someone's life tonight. Chris Melendez came out and said he never accepts defeat and wants a rematch. He said he will do whatever it takes. Young says he's nothing to him and screamed at him repeatedly to leave. Young said he's got nothing to offer him. But then he said he wanted Melendez to put his prosthetic leg on the line as Chris accepted brutal storyline. I hope TNA does the right thing and puts Melendez over. EC3's music played, but unfortunately it was for Tyrus. Match number 6, Matt Hardy defeated Tyrus. Tyrus dominated early on, but Matt got some offense outside. As Matt moved, Tyrus hit one of the ring posts hard. Ouch, Matt hit 2 twists of fate for the win in only 3 minutes. EC3 came out and demanded that Jarrett bring out his best. Tyrus was still out at the start of the match. He ended up leaving and was favoring his forehead, so he may be hurt with a concussion, probably. EC3 defeated PJ Black to retain the TNA title in about a 7-minute match. Black had a beautiful springboard 360 for a near fall. Carter tripped Black off the top and hit the 1% for the win in about 9 minutes. Tyrus did not return. Drew Galloway defeated Eli Drake in a no disqualification match. I'm sorry, but I went to the tapings last week from Thursday through Saturday, which were a lot of one-night-only explosion matches, and Drake is dull. I don't see anything interesting in him. I've seen him in at least 6 matches before this one. I think he's trying to be a borderline Dean Ambrose psycho, but with zero of his personality. For the record, I blame Drake for his character, not TNA. Anyway, in the end, Galloway got Drake on the top turnbuckle and performed a Samoan drop through a table set up for the win in about 10-minute match. But it was a decent match. Matt Hardy defeated Bobby Roode in about 2 minutes. Hardy went for a clothesline outside onto one of the ring posts, but of course Bobby moved and then worked on the left arm in about 4-minute mark of the match. Roode went for a move off the second rope, but jumped right into a nice twist of fate for the win. Match number 10, Gail Kim defeated Marty and Jade in a handicap match. No Terrence Terrell. I'm sorry to report. Gail is the best female wrestler I've ever seen. Pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage were the ways to win. On a side note, they showed Gail's husband, Robert Irvine, in the crowd. Marty and Jade dominated until 6 minutes in when Gail hit a perfect crossbody near the very top of the cage. The ending came when Jade went for a crossbody off the top rope, but Gail moved to hit Marty instead. Gail hit the feet for the win at 9 minutes for a solid women's match. Then they had an autograph session, the meet and greet with some of the talent after the show, but the reporter didn't stick around. Overall, a solid night, and the near 4 hours moved along well. Back tomorrow for the next taping. But July 28th report, thanks to In the Building Jacob. Tommaso Ciampa, formerly from Ring of Honor, defeated Crazy Steve in an explosion match. Looks like he's a GFW. Match number 1, Mr. Anderson defeated Bram in an open mic match. Match number 2, Eric Young defeated Chris Melendez to win the prosthetic leg. The Wolves defeated Abyss and Manic to retain the TNA titles. Brooke fought Velvet Sky to a no contest, but Marty, Jade, and Rebel interfered. What? Looks like Rebel is joining the Dollhouse. Probably replacing the TNA champion. Women's knockout champion. Bobby Roode defeated James Storms, Lashley, and Mr. Anderson to earn a King of the Mountain title shot. Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, and Global Force Wrestling turned heel. Jeff later said GFW was staging a corporate takeover. Bram defeated Kenny King. All 3 members of the beautiful people were reunited to fight off Marty, Jade, and Rebel. Well, we're looking to see how they write off the pregnant female star from the beautiful people. You know, the one. Tigre Uno defeated Sanjay Dutt and Z to retain the X Division Championship. Lashley defeated the Masterpiece. By disqualification, Trevor Lee and Brian Myers defeated the Wolves to win the TNA Tag Titles. EC3 defeated Matt Hardy to retain the TNA title and to earn Jeff Hardy's services as his personal assistant. Not stated how that got in there as a stipulation. Probably since they already did Full Metal Mayhem, then EC3 got to do his stipulation. Bobby Roode defeated PJ Black to win the King of the Mountain title. Well, the King of the Mountain championship looks like it's going to be changed every week or every 2 weeks. More detailed report from July 28th. Explosion in Impact Wrestling. Thanks to Jeremy. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Crazy Steve in a match for Explosion. Mr. Anderson defeated Bram. An open mic match, which had his music hanging over the ring as a weapon. had his mic hanging over the ring. Well, it looks like it's Mr. Anderson's style for that match. They also used tables and as a chair.